Hi, it's Baz. Today I want to talk a little bit about AI and how I use AI, how I've used AI to write, edit, and market my 4 books that you see here in my over-the-shoulder guide series of brief books. The first one is about planning and outlining your brief book. Second one is writing and editing. The third one is publishing and marketing. And the fourth one is about how to set up residual income from your brief book. And if you have more than one brief book, as I do here, it gets even better. And it actually provides you a little bit more flexibility with income streams. So, first of all, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I use ChatGPT. I learned that ChatGPT is invaluable to me. Now, as you know, I'm 67, I'll be 68 soon. And if a guy like me at my age, okay, can learn to embrace AI and not feel like I have to be a purist with every single idea, that I need to come up with every idea, every word, every sentence, then I think you can too. Now, first of all, I'll say this. AI is not going to create things for you. I mean, you could do that, but AI is a tool that will 10x, 100x the speed of your content development. And that's why you should embrace it. When I first had the idea about creating a series of brief books, I went to ChatGPT. I call ChatGPT Charlene because she has become like my research assistant for everything. And as I have used Charlene, she has gotten to know how I think, how I write. She understands my voice. And so I could ask her to say, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I'm calling them inanimate object pronoun, a personal pronoun, but bear with me. So I can ask her to, I can enter a prompt like, I want to create a video series that will promote book number 1, Blueprint. And I want to promote it from the perspective of a first-time author who has previously been stuck, and maybe they've, outlined a book, but then weren't crazy about it and then abandoned the project. So how can I reach that person? How can I create a video that will reach that particular person and who's facing that particular problem? Now, I can just type that in. I can even use my voice to dictate because I have such severe arthritis in my hands. I use dictation on my Mac a lot. And I can just talk that into ChatGPT using my dictation feature. And ChatGPT or Charlene will take that information and then think about it and then spit out this amazing suggestion. And then as ChatGPT or Charlene does, she always ends up with a question at the end. So either like, what do you think of this? Or would you like me to give you an example? And I'll say, absolutely. And then spits out an example. How about if I make you a graphic or an infographic? Now, Charlene's not that great at infographics, so I usually say yes, but I rarely use anything that it provides me. So I use ChatGPT. Now, if you look at the book covers that you see here, I asked Charlene to come up with a motif for these 4 books. Now, one of my corporate, actually before I retired, the 20 years before that, I was a corporate writer in the construction industry, in the architecture, engineering, construction industry. And so I knew a lot about, I didn't go to school for that stuff, but I've been a writer all my life. And so over 20 years, you pick up a lot of knowledge in the field in which you work. And so I was comfortable with that kind of a theme. And the terms that kind of leapt out to me were like blueprint, construction, launch. I was going to use erect, like erect a building, but that has other connotations that probably wouldn't have been as marketable. So launch, like launching a product, and then business. So I put all of those together. And for the book covers, I asked Charlene to give me three composites, three drafts of something that, like for blueprint, I said I want it on like a blueprint background. This is the title. I want you to use my Brief Books logo. Uploaded that and give me some examples. So I did that for each of these books, and the basic design of these covers came from Charlene, ChatGPT. And you'll notice that these are 3D. These are 3D representations of the products of the books. What I'm talking about here is, and I'll demonstrate just using my gigantic cursor. So what I asked Charlene to do was to create this front cover image. Okay, we're not talking about the spine, the shadows, or the 3D pages or anything like that. That I used something else for that. But for this one-dimensional, okay, type of flat image, ChatGPT was excellent. And I took a couple of designs and then tweaked them within Canva. And then what you see here are the covers that are on the books. I have a couple of test copies here. So this one is the blue. No, sorry. This one's blueprint, and this one you can't really see it because it's launch. But these are proof copies that you order before you actually list it on Amazon. You can order a proof copy so that you can go through front and back and on all of the pages and proof it, for things that you may have missed. So anyway, that's what you see is exactly what you get. Okay. And on the final copies, of these, here's a novella that I wrote called The $1 Bestseller by Wallace Granger. That's the entire title. And then my name's up here because I wrote it. Anyway, that's a work of fiction. But what you see is what you get on the cover. And then within Amazon KDP, you have the opportunity to design the back cover as well. And if your brief book is, I like to use the 5x8 size for brief books. You can also use 6x9. I like the 5x8. And for a 5x8, you need to have at least 79 pages in order to have your name print on the spine itself. None of these three was I able on. That didn't sound right. The three brief books that I have here were all under 79 pages, and so therefore on the spines there's nothing printed. Okay, what you see there is just the wraparound proof copy strip that they put around there on proof copies. But I relied on ChatGPT for cover design and for helping me outline each of these books. Now, outlining is where I think ChatGPT is your best friend. Because if you know what the, let's say the promise that you're making in your book, okay, the path that you want to set out for your reader to follow, and then the payoff that you want to guarantee them. These are the 3 Ps, and I talk about those in book number 1, The Blueprint. If you are clear on those, you can feed that into ChatGPT, ask for feedback, and say, okay, given that, let's create a table of contents. Let's create a table of contents of, say, for maybe 9 chapters, 9 brief chapters for a brief book that's going to be under 100 pages, and that delivers and then clearly identifies the promise, the path, and the payoff. And in no time at all, you will get this information back. Now, there's another book that I wrote probably, this is 2025. Probably 18 years ago. And I self-published it. I went through Lulu Press, lulupress.com or lulu.com, something like that. And I didn't go through Amazon. Amazon KDP really wasn't what it was today. Wasn't what it is today back then. And so I had to do everything from cover design to the typing and the writing and the outlining and everything else. And that book took me. It was 268 pages, I believe. So it was kind of a legacy book, and it was called Becoming Irresistible. And it was a business marketing book for freelance copywriters. The subtitle was How to Pack Your Freelance Copywriting Business with 5 New Clients Every Month. And so becoming irresistible as a business. And it really talked about magnetic type marketing methods and topics that were related to that. If I was going to write a legacy linked book, which probably no one reads anymore, I mean, some people still read long books, but I never finish those long books anymore. But if I was going to create something like that, that's a legacy linked, 250 to 400 pages, that would take me forever. And I'd get so tired of it. And that kind of speaks to the utility of these brief books. Not only can you employ AI, whether it's ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or whatever model that you like to use, you can use those in order to save yourself so much time. And at 67 years old, I'm in favor of saving as much time as possible. I don't want to spend years writing a book. I want to get a book done in about a month. Okay, so I teach a process for first-time authors. Obviously, this is my process here, that you can do this the first time within 2 months. But as you become more skilled in each facet of developing your brief book, you're going to be able to compress these actions into shorter periods of time. And so it will be absolutely possible for you to outline, write, edit, publish, market, and start building an income stream from a brief book within 30 days. I have no doubt about that. And if you embrace AI as I have, to save yourself a lot of time, then it becomes, I won't say easier, but it becomes faster. Because ChatGPT or whatever AI client that you decide to use, although it can do the work for you, that's putting the cart before the horse. And somebody will spot you as a phony if you just if you allow AI to write a book for you about a subject that you really don't care about, if you're just trying to make money. But if you're passionate about something, then you're going to put your own flavor into it. Now, for instance, the way that I wrote the Blueprint book was I did all the steps that I've previously shared with you. I went to ChatGPT/Charlene, and I said, these are the series of books that I want to write. For Blueprint, I only want to address outlining, like planning the book and then creating an outline. I want to do this in about 9 chapters, and I want to make it less than 100 pages. Let's create an outline first. We created an outline, okay? And then I asked ChatGPT let's expand that outline to 3 supporting for me. I said, underneath those 3 points, give me a couple of sentences that would be like, if you were going to create a sentence outline, how would I introduce that topic and lead into the next? Okay. And it would demonstrate that for me. And then from there, I had a skeleton of the Blueprint book. And with that skeleton, all I did was copy and paste, into my Google Docs. And for every chapter, it was a new, section. And then I started writing, or dictating in my case. And so I was able to complete that book, write that book in about a week, because of all the time-saving steps that ChatGPT was able to save me, was able to make and save me so much time. I think there's an article on my Substack at briefbooks.substack.com that talks about how I save oodles of time. I think I used the word oodles of time using AI or using ChatGPT to outline my book. And I don't think that's cheating at all. I think that's taking advantage of the technology that works so much faster than my 67-year-old brain, okay, even with the amount of coffee that I drink. And I don't think there's any, I don't have any issue with that at all. If I can employ, a computer to upload my manuscript to Amazon instead of me going to the post office and mailing it into a publisher, how is that any different? So you may disagree, and I welcome your comments on that, but I don't think that's cheating at all. It's interesting. My youngest son is almost 30. He's a musician, he's a writer, he's a great lyricist. And in talking with him about ChatGPT, he's like, I don't want it. I don't want anything to do with it. He's basically a purist at 30 years old, okay? And I look at that and I think that's probably an uninformed reaction to what a lot of these ChatGPT clients or the artificial intelligence clients can help us, the ways they can help us. It's not creating the books for me, and it won't create the books for you. What it will do, though, is save you oodles and hours, possibly weeks of time. When I think back to that first book writing experience that I had, that took me 4 months of literally sitting in my chair every night after work for about 3 hours over 4 months. I was so tired of that book by the time I finished it. In fact, I had 12 chapters outlined. And by the time I got done with 9 chapters written in a first draft, I didn't think I could go on any further. And so I cut the last remaining chapters. The last 3 chapters, I just tossed them. I didn't want to write them because I thought it was like overkill. And so I guess the point of this video is hopefully to get you to embrace AI in a way that saves you time, but doesn't do the creative work for you. Because we're writers, we're creators, and we have a lot to do, especially if we are a one-person business. So why wouldn't we use the technology that is available to us to aid us in our creative work? So let me know how you feel about that. And this wasn't a scripted video, so sorry if it kind of rambled all over the place, but I think you get the idea as to, why I'm excited about using ChatGPT in my book creation process, because, I'm not getting any younger, and neither are you. So I think we can either embrace the technology that we have available, or we can shun it and possibly never get our book published at all. So let me know in the comments what you think about this. All right. Thanks. I'll see you in the next video.